Hello everyone, welcome to my channel C.S.E.Pathshala. We were studying about Python for machine learning and data science, and in this tutorial we will study about extracting from data frames. So in the previous tutorials we have already studied about in extending Python using NumPy, that how to perform slicing in NumPy. Okay, that means how to extract a part of a NumPy array. So similarly in Pandas also we can perform the slicing to both series and data frames as we did in NumPy. Okay, so why? Because extracting rows and columns in data frame is one of the most important tasks that we will perform with the data frames. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing is selecting the first and the last 5 rows. Okay, sometimes the data frames might be too lengthy. That means not only some entries, it may have some large entries. So we just want to take a glimpse of first few rows in the data frames. Okay, so for this purpose we can use a method or a function called as head. Okay, this head function prints out the first 5 rows in the data frame. Okay, so let's consider one example and then we will understand what is the use of head here. Okay, so here it is. Import pandas as pd, import numpy as np, df equal to pd.dataframe. Here we are giving an argument as np.random.rndn 10,4 columns, that is list a b c d. That means first we are importing pandas as alias pd, then we are importing numpy as alias np. Okay, then we are declaring a variable df that is equal to pd, okay, dot data frame. So this is how we create a data frame. np.random, that means we are accessing a random module from numpy, and there we are having a method that is randn, which is been creating 10 rows and 4 columns here. That means we will create a random distribution where 10 rows and 4 columns are filled with those distribution values. Okay, so it's a standard normal distribution. Okay, then we are naming the columns as A, B, C, D. Obviously we are giving here the 4 columns, so the names we are giving here as A, B, C and D. Then we are printing the value of the df. Okay, that means the complete data frame will be printed. Then we are printing the value of df.head. That means we will print the first 5 row values. Okay, so let's save this code and run this code. Alright, so here it is. This is the complete data frame, and here we have printed only the 5 entries from this data frame. That means the first 5 row entries, okay, with the help of head. Okay, so if we want to print more than 5 rows or less than 5 rows, so we can give a parameter inside the head, and with the help of which we can print any number of the row entries. Okay, so let's consider one more example again. So here it is. Alright, so import pandas as pd, import numpy as np. Again we are writing the same statement here, df equal to pd.dataframe np.random.rndn 10,4 columns list a b c d. We are printing the value of df, and then here we are printing df.head 8. This 8 means we need to print the first 8 row entries from the data frame. Okay, so let's save this code and run this code. Alright, so here is the complete data frame, and here is the first 8 entries. So how we are just knowing that it's a 8 entries? Let's check the indices. Okay, these are from 0 to 7. Okay, so it's quite clear from here. We already studied that here the index starts from 0 by default. Okay, there is one more thing. In the previous example, it's quite clear that by default head is taking the 5 values. Okay, that means it's printing the first 5 rows here. Okay, if the number of rows are greater than 5, then by default it will print 5. Okay, and if we give any argument to head, okay, so it will print the rows accordingly. Now if you want to print less than 5, so let's make it as 3 now. Okay, so again let's save this code and run this code. So here it is. These are respectively the first 3 row values. Alright, now as we are having a head function, we are also having a tail function, and the tail function works opposite to the head function. That means it print the last 5 rows. Okay, so let's consider one more code and see what is the output of it. Alright, so here it is. Import pandas as pd, import numpy as np, and again we are taking the same data frame. Okay, and then we are printing the value of df, and then we will print the value of, that means df dot tail. Okay, so here it is. Now let's save this code and run this code. So here it is. It's quite clear that this is a data frame, and these are respectively the last 5 rows in this data frame. That means we are printing from 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. Okay, so this is how tail works. So like head function, the tail function allows to specify the number of rows to print. Okay, so again we can give an argument here in tail. So let's consider the code again. Okay, and implement it here. Everything will be the same, the complete code is same, only the one change we are doing here is, that means in df.tail we are giving an argument as 8. So exactly what we want to do is we want to print the 8 rows from the bottom. Okay, so let's save this code and run this code. Okay, so here it is. These are respectively the 8 rows. Fine, and it's also quite clear, as like head, the tail also takes the 5 rows as a default value if the rows are more than 5. Okay, and now if you want to change the argument from 8 to 3, okay, so let's save this code again and run this code. Now it's printing the last 3 entries, that means from index 7, 8 and 9. Okay, so these are the functions of head and tail. Now if you want to select a specific column in a data frame, so to obtain one or more column in a data frame, we can specify the column label. Okay, and it will print out the column together with its index. So it's up to us that what particular column we need to print. Okay, so let's consider one more code and then we will understand how it works. Alright, so here it is. Again we are taking the same data frame. Okay, that means import pandas as pd, import numpy as np, df equal to pd dot data frame, np dot random dot rndn 10 4 columns list a b c d. Then we are printing the data frame, and then we are printing. Now see, if we want to print a column whose labeled as a, then just write a statement like this: print df a in a single quotation. Okay, so let's save this code and run this code. So this is the complete data frame, and then we are printing the value of column A only. Okay, so we can match this with the data frame. Exactly, it's same. Alright, so obviously this will print the column with its index, and yes, it's been seen here clearly that the index values are there, and the column A values are there, and it is representing a series actually. Okay, but if you want to retrieve more than one columns, not only a single column, so we can pass in a list containing the column labels. Okay, so let's consider one more code and then you will see how to perform this. Again, we are taking the same code, only one change we are doing in the last line. That means we are printing df, okay, a comma b. That means we are writing the statement like this: a single quotation comma b single quotes. Okay, and that's it. Okay, so let's save this code again and run this code. Alright, so this is the complete data frame, and this is the column A and column B with the respectively index values. Okay, so it's up to us how many columns we want to print. Alright, so instead, we got a series in the previous example, but this time we are getting a data frame. Okay, so how? This is a data frame. Okay, previously it was a series only, because only the values are present with the index, so it's a series. But now here we are having two columns here and a index value, so it's a data frame now. Alright, now if you want to perform a slicing means that we very well know that we want to get a part of a data frame. So let's first extract a range of rows in the data frame. So how to do this thing? Let's consider one example. So we are taking the same code in every example, just we are changing certain lines as per the concept. So import numpy as np again, df, that is pd.dataframe np.random.rndn 10 columns list abcd. We are printing the data frame and then we are performing the slicing. Okay, so how slicing is being performed? Here we are taking df 2:4. What does this mean? We will print the value of rows from 2 till 4 excluding 4. Okay, so this is very much important. That means we will print the value of row 2, row 3, that's it. Row 4 will not be printed here. So let's save this code and run this code. Alright, so here it is. So this is the complete data frame, and this is row 2 and the row 3 only. Okay, so this is a slice of the above data frame. So we can also perform this task with the help of Iloc indexer. Okay, so how to perform this with Iloc? Let's consider one more code. Same code we are taking. Let's consider the last line. Print df Iloc. Okay, that means df.iloc 2:4. Again, just we change the terminology. Instead of df 2:4, we are now using Iloc. That means df.iloc 24. The concept will remain the same. That means row 2 and row 3 will be printed, row 4 will not be printed. So let's save this code and run this code. So here it is. This is the same output. Alright. So now if you wish to extract specific rows, that means using row numbers, we need to use the Iloc indexer. Okay, so for extracting the specific rows, the point is very much clear here. Iloc indexer is very much important to do this task. So let's consider one more code and we will see how to perform this task. Okay, previously what we are doing, we are printing the rows from some values, that means from the starting till the specific range for which we are doing. That means in 2:4 we are printing the values from 2 to 4 excluding 4. But now if you want to specifically print the rows, so let's consider one more code. Okay, everything is same, only the last line. That means what we are doing, print df.iloc 2:4, not 2:4. Okay, only 2:4. So we are specific towards it. That means the row 2 and the row 4. Okay, so let's save this code and run this code. Alright, so this is the complete data frame and this is the row 2 and row 4. These are printed. Okay, this is as per our choice. We are not printing as per the range. Okay, so yeah. Now without using Iloc indexer, if you want to perform this work, so let's check whether it works or not. Again the same code, just we are doing here as df 2:4 Okay, so that means we are looking forward to print 2 and the fourth row. Okay, so let's save this code and run this code. Okay, so only this data frame has been printed. Obviously there is an error, so it's a long error now. Okay, so this can't be performed with only df. We need to use Iloc to perform this task. Okay, now there is one more code we can consider. That means if you want to print only a single row, okay, that means the same applies when extracting a single row also. So let's consider one more code. Okay, so here it is, and we just focus on the last line. That means print df.iloc2. That means we want to print only the row number 2 of the data frame. Okay, so let's save this code and run this code. So here it is. So here is the row 2 only, with all the columns A, B, C and D has been printed here. Now if we can use only df2, okay, so what can happen? Let's copy this code again and implement it here. For example, if we want to print only the row 2 with the help of df only, not with Iloc. So let's save this code and run this code. Alright, so again we are getting an error. We can't perform this task. Okay, so yes, we need to use Iloc for printing the specific values of the data frames. Alright, so that's all for this tutorial. We will come with more informative tutorials on Pandas. Thanks for watching. Kindly do subscribe to my channel.